I'm on the run, guys. I kidnapped somebody. I got it in the back of my trunk. Said they would be out to come find me. I'm in Dubai. I'm running.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is btaylortv, and today we're going to be talking about Corey Pritchett. I think that's how you say his name. I'm very familiar with him along with his ex-wife, Carmen. I've done a video on her and her new relationship, but today we are going to be talking about Corey and specifically about this case that he has out in Houston. Now, I am a journalist for those who don't know, and a lot of people really don't know or are familiar with my work, but I actually was the journalist who broke the story about the brick lady when she was actually facing charges for lying about the brick situation per police. So now I have broke the story about Corey, and it's currently going viral on TikTok right now. So what better way than to actually just break down the court document that people do not have? Now, I wrote the original story that everyone is circling around and talking about. So if you're not familiar with the story, we're going to get real familiar with the story because there's some details in the court document that is in the story, but it's just, I didn't add the details because, you know, we only have so much information we have to give out. And, you know, I want to get to the nitty gritty part, but I will be redacting names. But there is an influencer in Houston that was there. He is very well known. He's a Houston trainer, but he's a Houston celebrity athlete trainer, but I don't want to say his name because he's not facing any charges. And we try to protect victims and we try to protect people who are not charged. Like, there's no reason for me to add his name to this story if he is not involved directly, as in he's not facing any charges. So I will say that he lived in Houston area. He lived in the Katy area. I'm very familiar with the Katy area, and he is currently facing felony charge of aggravated kidnapping out of Harris County, and the Houston Police Department is working this case, and charges were officially filed on Corey on December 26th of 2024. Now, for those who don't know, aggravated kidnapping is different from kidnapping because there was a gun involved. So anything with aggravated robbery, aggravated kidnapping is used because there was a firearm present at the time of the alleged kidnapping. Okay, so let's get into what happened. But instead of actually reading the news article that I wrote, I'm going to give you guys an exclusive and break down the actual court document. So on November 22nd, 2024, Corey met the complainant. And I want to call her the complainant because I don't want to use her name to protect the victims involved. That is my duty, to protect the victims. So I may just call them woman 1, woman 2, something like that, just to make sure that I'm not identifying them. So the woman said that she met Corey and exchanged numbers with him on November 22nd, and he was invited to go work out with her and her friend at a sports performance gym in Houston. It's a well-known gym in the Houston area. A lot of athletes, a lot of influencers go and train there as well. So for the next day, on November 23rd, the defendant, who is Corey, agreed to come. So on November 23rd, she met with him and the owner of the gym, and they worked out around 10 a.m. And after the workout, she said that, you know, they were all going bowling, and they told him that they were going bowling after. And he said that, you know, he asked them, could he go with them to go bowling? Like, they didn't invite him. He asked them, allegedly, if he can go out with them. And then he invited the women to come on and go ATV riding before they go bowling. So they went back to the woman's apartment where they got ready for the ATV outing. And that's where Corey had picked them up. And she took a bag with them that contained like several belongings, clothes, makeup. And so he arrived at the apartment and picked all three of them up. So actually, it was the two women and the owner of the gym. And they all went to an ATV outing at Extreme Off-Road Park, located in Crosby, Texas. And when they were all done with the outing, he makes suggestions to, that they could go and change at his Airbnb. Although he, lives in the Houston area, I guess he had an Airbnb, and they were all having a good time together. So everyone agreed that they were going to go and change clothes with no issues. And there was no issues. He was not acting weird to them, and he wasn't showing any signs of paranoia at this time. So this is when Corey drives to the Bolera, Houston, and it's a well-known bowling place in the Houston area, where they continue their activities, and they are met with two of his male friends. They did not name the male friends there. They did not know him by his name, but the owner of the gym, I guess he didn't go back to the Airbnb and change, because he later shows up to Bolera, Houston. So then after a while, they start to notice that Corey and his friends begin to act weird, and they're constantly looking around. And then that's when they learned that him and his friends had an issue with another group of people that were at the bowling alley. So the women asked Corey to leave with his friends if he was going to continue to act in that manner. Maybe, I don't know if he was saying certain things, if he was implying that there was going to be a showdown or a fight, but I think the women just jumped in and was like, hey, we don't want to be involved in this. I think you should just leave. So the issue between the groups would not escalate. So that's when Corey allegedly told the girl that he was going to go outside with his friends. And, they stayed inside with the gym owner at the bowling alley. And then she noticed that a lengthy amount of time have passed and that he has not returned. So she texts Corey. And she's like, hey, me and my friend belongings are still in your car from the ATV outing. We left our stuff and we need them back. And then that's when he responded to have the owner give them a ride to an HEB parking lot located off 9710 Katy Freeway in Houston. So the gym owner provided both women a ride to the location. And then that's when Corey then texts the woman that he is at the Academy Sports and Outdoors, which is located at the same shopping strip of the HEB. And then that's when they were dropped off. And that's when Corey decides to offer them a ride back to her place, because he knew where she lived, because that's where he picked them up. So, of course, he offered them a ride. They agreed. And, he was going to drop them off at her apartment or near her apartment, because when he picked her up, I think he picked her up at a shopping center initially, but he knew the area that she lived in. So that's when he started driving, they noticed a change in his behavior, allegedly, where he was not the same person as he was earlier. So I'm not sure what happened in between them going to Bolera, Houston, and the amount of time he spent outside the bowling alley with his friends, and the time that he picked up the women to get their belongings and offered to take them home. Because this woman is now saying that he is not the same person that he was earlier. So I'm not sure what that means, but I'm going to let you guys be the judge of that. So as time goes on, he starts to explain to both of the women that he believes that someone is after him and that someone is accusing him of setting someone's car on fire. So when he starts driving, the woman starts to notice that he's going the opposite direction of where her apartment is, and is now off the service road of I-10, passing up certain exits. and where he goes under the overpass and is now going eastbound on the service road of I-10 in Harris County. The woman starts to notice that he's passing up the light at Bunker Hill Road, which is the road that takes her to her apartment. And then she starts to tell him, like, hey, you're going the wrong way. I thought you were taking me home. And she's noticing that he's starting to make several phone calls to unknown people and responding the way that he was. So he starts to end up near Memorial Drive area, and at some point they were going westbound I-10 towards San Antonio, where he was driving at a high rate of speed, which both of the women started to feel uneasy because he reached 106 miles per hour. So the woman says that he then pulled out a handgun, which was located between the center console and the front driver's seat, where he begins to wave the gun around at the sunroof of the vehicle. Both of the women saw the gun and they described it to be a gold-colored firearm. That's when she told him, like, hey, you need to take me back to my apartment. But he ignored her, allegedly, and continued driving westbound on I-10. Both of the women, they try to remain calm and they try to pray together. And they even tell him, like, hey, can you pray with us? Let's all pray together. And he agreed, and he even led the prayer. But as he is leading the prayer and praying, he's still driving westbound on I-10 at a high rate of speed. And that's when she noticed that they were passing up Katie Mills Mall. And he started to make a phone call to an unknown woman that he had saved on his phone as future wife caller, where she is on a video call. I'm assuming it's FaceTime, but her face was not on the screen. And so they started to have a casual conversation in front of these women as he's driving the wrong direction of the woman's apartment, and he is acting erratic and driving really fast. This is when the women said that they heard him asked the woman on the phone if he had the perfect opportunity and was driving in the middle of nowhere and no one could hear them speaking about the women scream and no one would ever find them, should he just go ahead and do it? Both of the women stated that the unknown female responded with a yes. Now, I don't know who this woman is, but that is crazy. That is crazy. This is just my sideline comment to this. This is crazy. She said yes. So that's when the women both realized that this man was not going to take them back home and that he was going to take them in the middle of nowhere and delete them. AKA kill them, but I'm going to try to refrain from using those words. So I'm going to use the word delete, just because YouTube is very sensitive. Seeing that he also had a handgun in his possession, they both feared for their lives, they said. And so one of the women was sitting in the front passenger seat, and the other woman, her friend, was sitting at the rear passenger seat, and both of them were on their phones texting each other about the situation. And that's when Corey allegedly noticed that both of them were on their phones and that he snatched the woman in the front seat phone from her hand and then looked back and pointed the gun, allegedly pointed the gun and demanded the other girl turn over her phone, which she does. So then that's when the girl in the front seat, the woman in the front seat who originally met him, then she noticed that he turned off their cell phone data on both of their phones and continued to drive at a high rate of speed. Both of the women stated that Corey then rolled down the front driver's side window and shot the gun approximately 4 to 5 times out the window. That's when the woman stated that she gently taps him on the shoulder and asks if she can sit in the back with her friend to comfort her. That's when she said that Corey turns towards her, pointed the gun at her, telling her to stay where she is. She remembers passing up a Kathy's Corner, and this is located on the 9027 Southeast frontage road of Sealy, Texas. where Corey went on the turnabout and got back on I-10 east towards Houston, both of the women stated that Corey pulled over on the shoulder of the freeway and ordered them out of his car. And then he said, "This is your only opportunity." And that's when she tried to get her cell phone from him, but was unsuccessful. And he drove off, leaving the women on the highway alone at probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. I think it says 1:18, 01:18 hours. Investigators were able to get this information based off of a screenshot from one of the women's Life 360 app. So the women just continued on walking on the side of the highway for approximately an hour and tried to flag down drivers. And finally, a driver stopped for them where the women were able to call 911, and Waller County deputies were able to assist the women. And they stated that during this incident, while Corey was speeding down the highway, that he told them that "I'm going to F y'all and then kill y'all." That is what he allegedly said to these women during the incident. Both of them said that they feared for their lives and for their safety. And if the defendant Corey learned that they were talking to police. So they were able to get the screenshots from the Life 360 app, and the screenshots provided locations of the general area where Corey had the women, which, corroborated with their stories and their statements. And the screenshots also provided an estimated speed when traveling. And the investigators saw that one of the screenshots showed a map route where it begins in the Bunker Hill area, and the route is on I-10 West all the way past Katy area. On the screenshot, it also shows the time, which was 12:44 a.m. to 1:18 a.m. and an estimated speed of 160 miles per hour. Now, I don't know what app this is, but that is very important apparently to have on your phone in case of an emergency like this, because now they actually have proof that lines up with what happened to them that night. So when investigators tried to reach out to Corey, they found out that his phone was quote unquote no longer in service, and they left messages with his ex-wife and sent her his business card requesting contact. So the investigators have reached out to Carmen and also left her his business card information to please reach back out, because they are trying to get Carmen to help them find out where Corey is, thinking that Corey may be in contact with his ex-wife because he shares children with her. So that's when investigators later found out that he posted on TikTok and Instagram that he was leaving the country to start a new life in Dubai. And then as investigators are now working with the FBI was able to confirm that Corey reportedly flew to Doha Airport, which is located in Qatar. And it was a one-way ticket that he bought on December 9th of 2024. So this is when the DA accepted charges of aggravated kidnapping on him. Right now, there is no bond because there has been no arrest date for him. Police are asking people for any information that they have. But Corey, I don't know how long he plans to stay in Dubai. I don't know how long he plans to stay out there. I don't know if he's at risk of his assets being frozen. I'm not sure how that process really goes and how deep the FBI is going to go with the situation. But Corey, if he ever plans to step back on the land of the U.S., I don't think that he will be able to be there for long, because they are going to be tracking him. And now that the Houston police and local investigators here in Houston are working to get him arrested and working with the FBI. I'm not sure that he has that long if he ever decides to come back, which means that Corey is also probably not going to see his kids unless Carmen goes to Dubai and take the children to come and see him. But this man, they are alleging that he is clearly on the run because it lines up that he left soon after that situation happened. I'm not sure what Corey was reportedly on or what caused him to become paranoid about the entire situation, but I don't know. Let me know your comments below. What do you think? I'm not familiar with him in a way if I know that he does any illegal activity that would, hinder his thinking skills, but I'm going to let you guys go ahead and speculate below in the comment section. And I want to hear from you guys. And I will be following this story. I will be following this story closely. And for those who also want to know what's going on with Rhoda, the brick lady, I will also be following that story as well, because I know that she's had a couple of court dates, and I will either talk about if she is being charged or the charges are being dismissed or what happens out of that case, because, trials and stuff like this takes a while, but I will be sure to be following these situations as long as I can. So until next time, thank you guys for listening. And if you're not subscribed already, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? It's not too many real journalists on YouTube that is in this sector that can report a story like I can. So if you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because you're going to be getting some different storytelling, and you're also going to get different perspective from a journalist who is also in the social media and influencing world. But until next time, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I look forward to speaking to you guys next time. Bye.